And his daughter is 16 years old. She has tears in her eyes. Turns out, she is pregnant. Target knew this before the father did. Everybody's selling data. It's a $40 trillion industry. They're the tiniest Christian segment. And they have a yearly budget of $60 billion. And we've done 800 crores worth of business for small and medium-sized businesses just by instilling that cause.
Those who want to thrive in the dynamic D2C landscape must also go beyond the cart, and they must reimagine the entire consumer retail journey. And that's exactly something that our speakers participating in the next fireside conversation will in fact be speaking about, where our theme is Beyond the Cart, Reinventing Retail in the D2C Era. They also joined me now welcoming with a huge round of applause our lovely speakers. Avelo Roy, MD, Kolkata Ventures, will be joining us on this conversation. Good to have you with us. Let's have a little louder round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That's more like it. Thank you so much.
So tell me a bit, Avelo, I'll come to you first. If I'm not mistaken, 550 revenue-generating startups have been guided by you and mentored by you.
Kolkata Ventures.
From Kolkata Ventures, yes. So tell me a bit about when you interact with them, what do you pick up from them? Because online is very different from offline. So as they make the journey of transition from online D2C players to actually making a mark in the offline space where there are already so many established players, what are some common glitches that they encounter and how do they address these challenges?
These are very basic problems that we see our startups facing, which is lack of network. They know very well how to use digital marketing, but when it comes to retailers, when it comes to talking to a purchase officer, when it comes to connecting even, getting into quick commerce, it's a black box. And a lot of times the retailers don't respond, the distributors don't respond because you're a startup. They don't know if you can scale up, right? And to build that trust, to make sure they give you a chance, right? It takes a lot of effort. And that's where we come in as Kolkata Ventures. We have our set of investors, we have industry leaders, and we say, we trust this brand, we are funding them, we will make sure they scale up, kindly give them a chance, right? It's as basic as that. Then comes the digital marketing part. Again, that's the easy part. When you go into offline retail, then there is offline marketing that is required, in-store marketing that is required. Again, nobody teaches you that, right? Unless you have done an MBA specialized in that direction. So it's a lot of unknowns that these startups go through, that our companies go through transitioning. And there's obviously a lot of failure, a lot of mistakes if there is no support. And that's where we come in, where we support them, help them through. And it's a lot of friends of friends, I personally have a strong LinkedIn profile. So if I just put something out there, I know somebody I know who knows somebody who will connect you to someone. And that's where the network effect comes in, especially in East India, where we are not the Gurgaon, we are not the Bangalore and the Mumbai. We have a little more hardship in terms of getting in on board on a quick commerce or in a physical retail store.
That's interesting. Now, everyone is talking about generative AI. Every business wants to adopt generative AI. It's the buzzword. Everyone's talking about AR and VR. So tell us a bit about how you integrate all of this and pull consumers.
Till now, it used to be the bigger brands who could afford Amitabh Bachchan or a Virat Kohli or whoever else. One of the things is now these celebrities are actually licensing you to create their own Gen AI, and you can use their endorsement at a fraction of a cost, right? Personally, Saurav Ganguly is on our board, so we have approached him also for the same. So that's one aspect. Then when it comes to pictures and modeling and just digital marketing, the visual effect that you can do with Gen AI, mind-blowing. You don't have to spend on a photo shoot. You can just, in 5 seconds, you're able to create something that is absolutely stunning and it gets your attention. It stops you from scrolling and you put it on a billboard and people recognize you. They see something beautiful and voila, you have it, right? From the text to everything, the call to action. Gen AI has been a blessing when it comes to marketing. Now, when it comes to VR and AR, it's not for everyone. And often it's a buzzword. Especially as an investor, I hear pitches where they're always using VR AR is not for Raymond's. They failed with their magic mirror, right? So what to speak of smaller brands? So it does work for Lenskart. It does work for a lot of companies, but it doesn't work for everyone. IKEA does it very well with augmented reality. I'll give you a story. One of our companies, they sell tiles and bathroomware. So what they did was, rather than building multiple stores, they created multiple trucks, just like you have food trucks. right? And you get into the truck, you wear your little goggles, and you're able to visualize your bathroom, you know, visualize your sitting room, but what tiles, what color, whatever you want it to be. And that's basically it. Rather than having stores, they're having these trucks going around the city where you can go in, visualize, order your product and get it in, and tell your architect to build exactly like that. So there are certain segments where it can be a game changer. It can save a lot of money, but it's not for everyone. But when it comes to Gen AI, boy, oh boy, it's absolutely a blessing for zero budget marketing.
Very nice. Avelo, you know, we saw a lot of community building initiatives, particularly during the time of the pandemic. There were Facebook communities and there were a lot of WhatsApp groups that came up. And that proved to be a blessing for D2C brands, you know, in terms of advertising and reaching out to the target consumer. How do you think that can be used to strengthen a D2C brand in its journey from online to offline?
Oh boy, it's so important. And for a startup, that's all we have. Honestly, when you're a new company, Indians in general, we don't have any brand loyalty unless it's Apple or Samsung and some big brands out there, Amazon perhaps. But when it comes to small businesses, there is no brand loyalty. 5 rupees more and you lose a customer. So in that situation, what do? You build a brand around a cause. And somebody who started that was Patanjali, right? Ramdev with yoga and Indian nationalism and all that. I'll give an example of a small Christian community called the Mormons in the US. They're the tiniest Christian segment. And they have a yearly budget of $60 billion. You know how? They create businesses that are from the community and they tell their congregation, you're going to buy only these products to support our businesses. So Mormons drink Dr. Pepper, not Coca-Cola and Pepsi. And they have many such products that the community actually consumes. And 10% of that money goes to the church, right? Thereby $60 billion money that they have. Now coming to India, we have Jito for Jains. We have the Marwaris, we have the Punjabis. Everywhere you see there are ethnic classes. Now, as a Bengali, we didn't have that before. During the pandemic, we created the Bengal Business Council. And I'm so proud to say we instilled this idea of buy Bengali-run business products. And we've done 800 crores worth of business for small and medium-sized businesses just by instilling that cause, right? And there is things with faith-related, Vedic products and Islamic products and Jewish products. So we as startups, we should not be shy and get about what will people say? We are supposed to be secular. We are supposed to be this and that. If something works for you, it creates a niche for you. It creates a sense of belonging. Dog lovers group, for God's sake. We love dogs. Then go ahead. Create that niche, be an influencer in that niche, and have the cause and effect where people buy your product because they believe in your process. They believe in what you believe, right? That's the way we survive. So even if it is 5 rupees more, they won't leave you because they believe in your cause. And I feel that is absolutely essential for all of us to find our niche and build around that niche so that people stay with us for whatever we're building till you become a brand.
So finding your niche is important. So Avelo, when you guide your portfolio companies as an investor, how do you tell them to look at ROI? Because I understand that as they come to offline, you can't look at it in the conventional way, right? There has to be a different flavor to it because the metrics are so different from how you do it online. What is your experience? What advice do you give them? And generally, what happens when they make that transition?
As an investor, I'm a long-term investor, whether it's stock market, whether it's real estate, whether it's startups. And with startups, it's no different. I tell them, look, when you are going offline, probably you won't be able to get into a big box store. Why not try it out with a pop-up store in a shopping mall? See if you can at least be break-even. Fantastic if you're break-even. If you're profitable, congratulations. If you're making losses, make sure you can afford it, right?
Losses?
Because it's an investment in your education. Like I said, I'm a long-term investor. Because if they get educated and make a few silly mistakes, perhaps when they kind of grow from there, they will not repeat those mistakes. And that's what I look for in a startup. The entrepreneur is dynamic, can learn, is humble enough to grow, right? If they make mistakes, they will not repeat. And then you have a solid, knowledge base with which you can grow. And that's what I look for. So it's okay to kind of screw up, but build attraction, learn what works, what doesn't work, how it is different from online to offline. And then with that credential, you go to a big box store. and you say, look, on my own, in my pop-up store, that's what I did. If you allow me the opportunity, I can do 10 times more with your help. Will you help me? And I think that's a much stronger pitch than, like, I'm nobody, I'm nothing, I've done some online sales, please let me in.
In general, what works and what doesn't?
It's all about the network, It's all about who you know. For example, if I make a phone call and say, please give this guy a chance, probably in 10 minutes that person will meet with them, and if they're good enough, they'll get in. And if not, no matter how much they try, they won't. Now, having said that, numbers do matter. When you show that, look, I have done this through a food truck, I have done this through a, pop-up store or whatever, and here is the numbers, here is what the traction looks like. These are the kinds of people. I understand the market. I can market it right. That shows credible and that works. When you're talking to the person who is purchasing, they are trained to know what will sell, what will not sell. They want to hear from you. Do you know what I know? If you can prove it to them, I know what you know and more for my product. That is very powerful, and that enables them to say, let me take a chance. 2 of my stores, you try it out. If it goes well, 10 stores more. If it goes well, more stores are coming, right? But either you have a good network or you are very good with what you know, with facts and figures backing it up.
That's interesting. Tell me a bit about what you want to do differently to resonate with your target consumer base in terms of new experiences that you would want to offer them when they walk into one of your offline stores.
You must have heard about the Amazon stores that are there, humanless stores. You can just walk in, you know what to buy, you get out, you're checked out, no touch required. Perhaps not that much, but a little bit of automation is definitely going to come into retail stores. A lot of the data that is coming from the online usage and from the retail, both are going to be used to track a customer through their phone number or whatever. And accordingly, there's going to be a lot of predictive analysis about who you are. I'll give a story if you give me 2 minutes. This happened a few years ago in Target. This is the US big buck store. There was a father who came in, and in his mailbox, there was a bunch of pamphlets for pregnant women, right? And he comes in, puts it on the table and tells his daughter and wife that I don't know why they would give me something about pregnant women. And his daughter is 16 years old. She has tears in her eyes. Turns out she is pregnant. Target knew this before the father did, right? Why? Because they constantly track you. They know your purchasing behavior online and offline. And by the way, if you didn't know, Facebook, phone manufacturers, Google, Amazon, everybody's selling data. It's a $40 trillion industry, what we do with data. This was told to me by one of the biggest phone manufacturers in the world. Before I walked in, they sealed my phone and everything. And they said, look, we don't have to sell the phones. We can give it for free. We sell the data of if you have a Zomato, there's a Swiggy. If you're banking at HDFC, you also have access. We sell this data to each other, right? To make sure they can help market their products and things better. So in retail, you're going to see this more and more where they know who you are. If you're a vegetarian or a vegan, or you're a Muslim or a Hindu, you're a BJP or a Congress, you're a this or a that. And based on that, the kind of in-store advertising you'll see, the kind of things, the coupons you will get, right? The smart cards that you'll have, everything will be automated and customized based on who you are, what you like, and what others don't know about you, but our retail stores would. Reliance is already experimenting on it, and there are a couple other big players who are experimenting on it, so we will see that very, very soon.
We'll see that very, very soon. Coming to you, audience, do we have any questions?
Hi, my name is Deepak. I represent the company. Now, the question that I have is, how do you envision what kind of marketplace and offline model can be it? And
so how do you envision marketplace model in the offline space? So would you like to take that? We have 2 minutes. A quick response.
Well, first of all, understand that the shopping mall, 66% of the people who go there don't actually buy anything. They probably buy food and they get out. It's mostly teenagers and young adults. Now, coming to your idea about how, I don't know. The answer is, I don't know. But all I can tell you is, it will be data-backed, it will be smart, and how you see AI, what it did in November 2023 to now how it has evolved, expects more of evolution, and we can only imagine what it will be like. I will not speculate, and I don't honestly know what marketplace in a retail form would look like, but it would be customized. It would be very much user-centric.
Indeed. On that note, we'll end the conversation. The panelists are here. You can chat with them offline as well. We are running completely out of time. I have to end it here. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for being such a fabulous audience. Thank you, speakers. It was great having you here.